Can you hear me? Can you hear you? I can hear all this one. Speak. Hello? This is not working. I don't know. That's great. Hello? Yeah. Okay. Two people. Hi, everyone. All right. This is episode 4. Episode 4 of Brass Knobs and Back Talk. It's not quite 1. That's true. But you got 2 minutes. So what did you do this weekend? It was a long weekend. It's short for me. I had one day I could do stuff. Sunday, right? Yeah, it's Sunday off. I played in the dirt all weekend. Yeah? That's what I did on my day off. Played in the dirt. We tilled. Did I do that this week? Oh, we did that last weekend. But we got straw and everything down for our grass. And I formed out all of my flower beds. You did what to them? Formed them. Formed them? Right, because I don't have any right now. Yes, that's what I did on Sunday. Just one. The week before last, I did a huge one too. So that's a lot of work. Yeah, it is a lot of work. Oh my goodness. Whole new meeting to working on your knees. What? Maybe we should work smarter and hire that part out. Well, I did for my front. But my back, I said, no, I'm going to do my back because I want to do it because I'll enjoy it, you know. Right. But, I'm tired now. And my kids got a swing set this weekend. I saw that. Mm-hmm. But they love that. Yes. Played on it one day, now they don't know where it's at. No, they're on it. They're have the worn out patches where their feet go already. Already? Mm-hmm. Well, and yesterday we got sand for the sandbox. And I like formed out around the tree where our rocks are. The one we added rocks to our pine trees, on the bottom, and I scooped all those out and threw all the rocks, made sure they were in the section they needed to be, and planted some perennials. I didn't plant any. I did plant some yesterday or Sunday, four of them, but we did that the week before. So it's 101, and who do we have on here? You need to open your phone up because I can't see. Cindy, is that what it says? I look terrible. I can't see that. I can't see that far away. So, and what is our theme today, or what are we talking about today? Today we are talking about vintage gardens. Vintage gardens. Vintage garden items. Did you know there was such a thing as vintage gardens? You know, some people don't call it that. You know, gardens with my junk in it. Gardens with junk. I could have called it that. Cool, rusty junk. Yeah, we're doing weathered urns, rusty iron gates, floral themed antiques, and timeless outdoor styles tips, focusing on wrought iron, the comeback of concrete statues. Yes. The top 5 garden items that sell fast that we see here, and how to use antiques to create a secret moment or special moment. Secret moments in your garden. In your garden. Okay. Yeah, with vintage and antique. So we decided to do this because we both kind of did this weekend. Right. Right. Not together. Not together. In our own yards. Did not plan this. But you know, when the weather's nice. I mean, we didn't plan it together. Right. No. Yeah. And Sunday was a non-sunny day, but it was nice enough to do stuff out in the yard, and that's when I was home. And it was a little chilly out Sunday. It was a little, but I was thankful because otherwise my glasses are full of sweat and then I can't see. Mm-hmm. So I only had to wipe them off one time. and that was nice because a couple weeks ago when I did it, I couldn't even keep them on. So then I'm blind.
Right.
Which really is not fun.
Yeah, some weird crackle again.
Yeah. No, I don't hear the crackle.
Yeah, I don't hear it now.
Okay. So how many of you put things in your garden besides flowers and bushes? Do you add personal touches of things that are personal to you? Do you like certain types of things in your gardens?
No, I think I will admit that I think I hated that.
I know. I think you did too. That's why it surprises me that you did stuff like that.
And I still wouldn't do it probably in like my normal little flower beds or anything like that because
Right.
I'd like the clean, sleek look.
Right.
So here's for both of you, somebody who likes a lot of stuff
Yeah,
and
but
people who don't like a lot of
my
stuff.
front though, I don't have anything in besides
Right.
I don't want that all cluttered up.
But you can still incorporate little touches of character in certain spaces, even if you don't think that you like it in little spots. Look at that cute rooster. He would look cute in my little garden. You can bring in little touches of character so that way it doesn't look just so standard.
Well, it also when you add little touches, as long as you don't go overboard, it looks like somebody lives there. You know, like you see the presence of people living in that space when there's other things there besides just a tree or a plant.
When you begin, okay, so I think the hardest part is where do you begin, right?
What's your vision? Do you have a vision?
And you can't.
No.
When you're doing this kind of thing, you really can't. You just kind of got to start with your space and form it, and then start adding.
Right. Or maybe you see something, like I saw something in the mall, and that's what sparked my inspiration. I'm like, I've always wanted to use that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And I've never had a space to put it in. And so all night long, that's what I was thinking about. So then the next day I did it.
I did that too. I was in here and I really like the double wash sinks.
Oh, I do
the
too.
Vintage, and we have maybe 3 of them in here right now.
One of them's mine.
Right, but it's for sale.
It is for sale. I have a single one in the back that's not for sale that I wanted to bring up, but I haven't done that yet.
I know there is one right over here in the front. It's got I think it's a double sink, a double bin, and it's a white rustic looking one, more silver and whites. And then I bought one that was orange.
Yeah, kind of a apricot. No,
it was orange.
Is it orange?
Yeah, which I bought because the town I live in, it has an orange of the colors. So I bought it, and I surprised myself because, first of all, it was color. So if anybody's watching who my husband would agree, he would say she doesn't like color.
She has just subtle hints of color.
Right.
Maybe.
But I like to keep things neutral so you can always change it up. So in my garden that I created, the only thing that has color is my sink, but my florals, my perennials have some color to them. But other than that, it's pretty much just white, black, and green.
Yeah.
But my pop of color is my sink, and then I have purple flowers with my orange sink because the complementary color of orange is purple. So that's where I started, and you started with a certain piece in here too. Yeah. Both metal.
Yeah, I found a wheelbarrow, an old wheelbarrow, in someone's booth, and it was the old style that I liked. It wasn't the old one with the wire wheel, the metal wheel.
No, but it was so cute. I saw it, and I was going to take a picture and send it to you last week. I was like, did you see that?
I didn't see it until Saturday when I was in here early, and I was going. Well, the other one is cool too, but it's a deeper one, and it wasn't as big. Mine was more shallow.
I know. I thought about that one.
And I thought I should buy both of them, and then I can put the one in front of I have a red barn shed. It would look cool for that. But I also have my single sink that I want to use. So I'm thinking, and I never showed you pictures of what I did in front of there. I took one of those wired chairs, those big garden chairs.
Oh, did you?
I took one of those and put it on the corner, kind of in front of the building with my shepherd's hook and flower and the pot beside it. And I sat it on concrete. So it at least adds something to that corner. Because we have a blank slate. We bought the house the end of last summer, so we didn't do anything.
We both do.
Yeah, and she just bought hers when?
Last fall.
So, and your house had never been a house before there. I mean, they moved that house there, and ours was, nobody just did anything outside too much.
The inside was what they focused on there, but then they never did a whole lot to the outside.
Right, so they tried around part of the patio, and it looked terrible. by the time we bought it, probably because it needed watered and nobody was there to water it. But I did that a couple weeks ago. But I did finish. I planted perennials in that yesterday. But there's no fun stuff besides plants in those areas. So when I talk about rusty junk and stuff, I have one spot that has that, and then I have just a little tiny bit on one corner.
You know what I like to do with those other spots that are smaller is just add like piece. So my big thing, even when I do booths and stuff in here, is texture.
Yeah, you always
Right?
say that.
I always say that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't focus on the colors. Don't focus on what it is. Focus on your texture first. So you have wood, then you need metal, then you need some kind of soft, which outdoors could be something painted, could be your soft, or an outdoor pillow, or your florals could bring in your softness too.
Right.
So once you get that combination of things,
Right.
then you have the perfect little secret garden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in lighting has a lot to do with it too, I think.
Oh yeah.
In some spaces, I don't have any lighting in mine, but mine's under a tree and yours is in a little space with a bunch of trees.
Yeah. So the house that we bought had no landscaping done, like she said, but the side of the house has like this wooded area that before our home was placed on the lot it's on, the lady who had owned it previously had that whole area, that whole lot was kind of like, she said, like greenhouse type things.
Really?
Yeah. So I think at one time it was really cool.
Yeah.
And then they just couldn't do it anymore.
Right.
So she was excited to see our
Good.
improvements on the lot. But so the area is like wooded, and it kind of just lines. It's just a small, I would say maybe 10 foot of tree space and shrubbery between our house and hers. And I'm like, what do we do with that? I can't tear it down because it's green, right? And it's a nice little fence area, but it needed a lot of work.
So what'd y'all do?
So,
because on the pictures I couldn't tell real close.
Oh my. Well, I started by hacking out everything that was dead. And then I did that a few weeks ago, which I should have waited because some of those things weren't bloomed yet. I don't think. There could have been some hydrangeas and types of things in there maybe. That when I was doing everything was just dead stick.
Yeah. But if the hydrangeas are still planted, they'll come up again.
Yeah. You're right. And then a ton of rocks because everything was rock. Our whole lot was rocks. So when I'm talking about planting things, I wanted to go take the shovel to my head because it was terrible. You couldn't go very far, which is really good for drainage and watering your things. But oh my God, it was terrible. And everything's clay, because it's so.
And that's the way around my tree was because the roots are coming up. Like you can see the roots on top. That's why I put it there to begin with. And it was so hard. It was so hard to get all that grass.
You have to worry about. You have to go around it. That's
why my one around it.
My pine trees, and then we have these one trees that have like red roots.
Really?
And I was just like called a red tree. I don't know, but they have reddish orange roots, and they just kind of spider everywhere.
Huh. What kind of tree that is?
I don't know, but you can't. You gotta
do anything with them. So then what'd you do?
So I formed a space, right, where most of the stuff was dead, but I still had a really good green background. Then there was a spot that had more of an opening to the neighbor's area. So we put a shed there.
Yeah, I saw that shed.
My husband built a shed. And if you're thinking about buying a plastic shed, just go build the damn thing. Don't buy one.
Was it terrible? It looks like it does. It doesn't look plastic. It looks really cute.
Oh my gosh, yes. I Amazoned it. I bought it off Amazon. And
besides here.
Yeah, here and Amazon, the two different spectrums in the world. I feel for him.
The guy that was delivering it?
No, my husband.
Oh.
He did it, in different points of starting and ending and whatever. Anyways, it looks nice, but I added a pot on the side, like a planter, underneath the little windows that it had. And I then formed a walkway from one side to the other where it kind of just snakes around.
What'd you form it with? Your rocks?
No. Well, I do want to put some rocks down, but I don't have any yet. But I put some sand down, some masonry sand, and then added hear that crackling again. I added the um, from Aldi. They had deck tiles, like snap together deck
Oh
tiles.
yeah.
Anyways, I put those down, and I would just suggest just to bite the butt and use concrete ones because that also was more work when I tried to do it easy. The plastic shed, plastic tiles, it just was not.
Yeah, I picked up some. We had a bunch of concrete ones,
Yeah,
and we put them off to the side because we didn't know what we was going to do with them. So I did
I
pull
rather
some
would
of
have
those
done like
out.
flagstone.
Yeah. I have flagstone too, and I know what I'm doing with those, but I don't have that. I might not get to that this year.
I really want to do something like that, and maybe that's next year. You know, I
Yeah.
got my pathway, but we'll form it differently. Anyways, so I did that, and then I had bought a bird feeder, like a little birdhouse thing from one of the vendors that came for the winter market last year.
Oh yeah.
He hand carves out of wood.
Oh, I think I remember
Yeah,
that.
so I hung that in my tree.
Cool.
And then but the first inspirational piece was the sink that I bought here, and then I found a I don't know if it's iron.
Oh
It's a
well,
metal bench.
it's iron.
Is it iron? It's not super duper
It's a
heavy.
cast. Oh, it's not super. No, it's not a super heavy one.
Um,
It's like those white garden.
It's metal, yeah.
chairs.
But it's heavier than just plain old metal. But anyways, I put that kind of cornered against my
Wash
sink,
basin.
and then I put the flowers tiered and added a bunch of things here and there. And then I live on a railroad track, and I kept telling Mom, I was like, I have to find a way to use these railroad ties. I have to.
So did you do something with them?
So last night, after thought I was done with forming everything, and I hung my solar lights up in the trees, and then I got these little solar lights that go in the ground, so they shoot up against it. And I bought one tree, or replanted one tree because we had how many that were dead that we kind of tore down. So I'm like, well, I'm going to replenish the space, and I bought a maple, a Japanese maple, a red one. So that way there was color in the center of my garden.
And taller than down below, right?
Yeah, it's lower.
But I mean, it will eventually be a little taller.
Yeah, but it kind of stays shrubbery type.
Smaller,
yeah. But then I can't think of it. Oh, my railroad ties. So I went up the hill and I pulled one log, and because I was like, okay, now my shed, we built a floor for the shed to sit on because we weren't putting it on a slab.
Right.
And then it came with a floor too, like a plastic floor. But yeah, there were so many tree stumps and so on. So we built, up a little platform, which was my kids' favorite thing because they thought it was a stage for a while.
What did you build it with?
Just plywood and 2x4s. Yeah, treated lumber.
I'm saying, I hope it was treated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you could see like where we had some parts were shimmed up, because your ground wasn't super duper even though we took a tractor to it first. But I was like, I can't stand that way. I could see those 2x4s on the bottom.
Yeah.
I was like, so I'm going to have to paint them black, And I thought, no, I'm going to use my railroad ties. You better believe it. The railroad ties were the exact width that I needed for the entire rim of the
because the railroad company just takes them out and lets them lay alongside the road.
Yeah, I mean they're completely dead, rotted out, kind of. Right. Yeah,
but they look cool.
Yeah, so I was excited to use those.
Again.
Yes, and of course my little one, she thought right away it was a bench. She was just sitting down there. And I'm like, oh, it was perfect. It was perfect success. She was happy underneath it. The kids helped me put sand down underneath the steps, the stepping things, and
right.
Anyways, it was a whole family affair. Well, no, not minus Corey because he did the shed, but yeah. Anyways, it looks really cute, and to my surprise, I would have never chose to put something like that in my home because I'm not super into all that eclectic type thing. But we got our little gnomes everywhere, and so it's a little fairy garden, secret garden. But I have vintage things in there mixed with new textures, colors. So it was a perfect little backdrop.
So did you plant any annuals or just all perennials?
I did not plant any annuals, no.
So
they're in my pots.
What color of plants are you gonna have? Like you said, you had plants. You find some perennials. Which plant?
Well, my Japanese maple was red, so that was my center color. purplish color. And then I got 3 different types of hydrangeas. So I don't know if they'll flower this year or not,
Right.
but I put 3 of those down behind there. So I think throughout the years I'll probably do, annuals along the
Add some
stepping
stuff,
space
yeah.
and stuff like that.
That's
But
the whole
just
thing with perennials.
yeah.
Just add as you go, and then people divide stuff out. And
Yeah.
Gentry did hers, like, filled tons of space with people that just gave her stuff.
Yeah.
She bought a few things.
I do have a couple things that my mother-in-law said that she has
And I have,
that she's getting ready to split out for the side of my house and stuff like that.
I got some stuff back here too if you want some.
Okay.
Those yellow,
Daffodils.
they're not daffodils, they're lilies, yellow lily plus lily. What are they called? Little tough lilies? I forget. Anyway, they're back there.
Okay.
You need some. Those were from Nancy and Don. There's still some left.
Okay.
But they're green. I mean,
Again,
they're nice.
She gave
No, she gave them to me last fall, but we kept them back there, and so it was nice and cool and it had dirt around them, and they're fine. So.
Yeah, I can plant some of those. I do have some wild lilies on the one side of the thing that were already there. Yeah. I think they're purple head.
So what do you think sells the most? What are the top 5 things? Because we said we was going to talk about that.
Well, we talked about it a little bit beforehand, but then I started walking around. I'm thinking, well, yeah, that's true. Anyways, birdhouses made out of vintage things, I think, do sell well here.
Yes, they do. But I don't know if that's a top.
It's not a top, but and so not a top, but birdhouses and little figurine type things, animal type things, chickens and roosters.
Right.
Are huge.
Talking about that, I want to stop right there. Saturday when I was working here with Patricia, she found the biggest rooster.
Selby's.
Yes. It was aluminum, and it was so cool. I
almost picked them up last week.
Yes, they were so cool. Anyway, it was a big one, and it's not gonna chip off or nothing. It's awesome. It was an awesome.
He had too much color for me.
Yeah, well, for her not, but she has chickens, so she says she has all kinds of chicken decor in her yard.
Yeah, I saw him.
So yeah, that was a neat one. That was a neat one.
I knew it wouldn't last, but I'm like, somebody else can appreciate him more than I will, so I'll let him go.
Yeah.
But yes,
so figurines type things. Of course.
Lanterns do well.
Yep, lanterns do well.
I think benches are big. Benches, step ladders, and stools. Like I would combine them all together in chairs. Mm-hmm. Those types of things. Anything that looks like it's going to fall apart or it has rust or chipped away paint.
Can sit planters on them.
Mm-hmm. I did. I picked up one. Here.
Don't catch your wires. Oh, a stool.
Yeah, a stool.
I thought about doing that too.
You can't see it.
Yep, you can't see it.
It's got a metal bottom and like a chippy paint top, but it's sealed so it won't continue to chip away.
Right.
But it would be perfect for a little fern or something on it.
When you're looking for items, you always want to find different heights of things. So you have, when you're sitting on your deck or someone's walking by, you see all your florals at different heights and layers. Mm-hmm. Just like when we decorate here in the booth.
Oh, yeah.
You want to see layers.
If your eye doesn't wander, it's not done.
Right. If it's all one level, one flat, there's no interest. And people, you just walk by it. You just don't see it. Mm-hmm. And it's the same way in the garden. Another thing is buckets. Like the galvanized buckets always sell the big wash tub type things that are round that people used to use for butchering, different things like that.
We talked about old wheelbarrows.
Yes, wheelbarrows.
Those are probably very high, soft.
Very many in here.
Some don't, because they don't last.
Yeah, mine's already.
Or people don't give them up. They don't give them up.
Right, because they use them.
Yeah,
they don't give them up.
Anything enamel planters, any like enamel type bowls and
planter or buckets and things like that are great for planting in.
And you know what's really trending right now, I think, is heritage statues.
What's heritage statues? Like
anything that would be like a goddess head or
so what?
Not like Pioneer, but like the Lady and the Man and the watering can we have out front.
Mm-hmm. Do we still have it?
I think we still have it.
I thought on Sunday when I was in my yard, I'm like, I could really bring that to my house. It would look cool. But number one, I couldn't move it myself.
Any of that like mythology type.
It era. Is really big. We've sold a ton of it.
Yeah, and
especially in Centerville.
You could even keep them in your like covered gardens too, like your covered porches, and you could put succulents out the heads and stuff like that.
Right.
So looking for damaged statues are really into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have to be perfect to look cool in your garden.
No. Old shoes.
Yes. Julie just did her dad's.
Yeah, I have my
old
dad's
shoes, and
old
you do
shoe.
too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't have any, but yeah, those are cool.
Yep.
I think I threw all my old shoes away from Gary's
But if you do have a loved one who's passed, it's a really neat idea.
It is.
Or not passed, whatever. But you could take an old work boot and I put succulents in it every year.
Chicken heads, something like that. Or
I just replant succulents every year. I don't really like chicken heads that much for some reason. But those are like super hardy. I had them in my garage because Dad had some at his house, and I said, "Oh, I'll take these." They were generational, from grandparents' homes and stuff. So I took a few, and then when we moved again, then I dug some up, and then I was going through and cleaning out the shop last night, and all of a sudden I'm like, "Oh my gosh, they're green." Yeah. They don't even they just need air.
Ginger has a ton of them too. She's got from, I think, grandma.
Terracotta pots, always popular.
Yes, we sell a ton of those.
Yeah, but we're getting slimmer on
them. Yeah,
we had like enough to make an entire huge booth full, and
now
my goodness,
we have a few left in the back.
But those are really neat because when they break, you can still use them.
Yeah, I
use them cracked open.
Yeah, you can use them for like flowers coming out of the garden.
If it's really cracked, you could break them up even smaller and make little tiny paths or little,
and you know what else I use them for? Like, putting stones or rocks in the bottom of your pots because you want drainage.
Oh, yeah. Once you're like, you're putting a whole pot, and they're like,
no, if there's a bunch of broken pieces, I'll throw them in. And
I always put gravel in the bottom of my
and I didn't have any gravel at our house because we have blacktop, but on the one flower bed they had put lava rock, which you can buy lava rock for landscaping, and I dug like 3 buckets out of there, and that's what I used for all my pots because I didn't want the lava rock in my.
I usually do some rock and then some sand, and then I put in my real dirt and then my topsoil with my plants.
Do you really? I just use regular. I usually put perlite with, but now you don't really have to do that anymore because most of your potting soil mix has that in, so it's light and airy. I used to not, and then I would add some, but now I don't. But yeah, I just put rocks or lava rock or stone or chipped up anything really. You could even use if you have a huge pot and you don't want to waste so much, costs a lot to put a lot of dirt in there. You can put like water bottles in there.
Yes, I did that with my planter boxes at my old house.
Or you can use pool noodles.
I've seen that.
Different things to fill that up first, and then you have drainage at the same time. So
we had a lot of from that garden space that I did, we had a lot of dead leaves and twigs and stuff like that. So I did put those in some of my bigger pots at the bottom, to get some, and it helps. It helps your
soil. So my wheelbarrow started my inspiration, and we have 2 trees in our yard. One's closer to the deck, and the other one's behind, like our barn shed. And so I don't really see the roots or the bottom of that because it's behind the barn. You start with what's closest to you if you have a blank slate. So I started at the deck and made all my flower plant. And this is the first time in 3 years that I've been able to do that. And that was always my thing. Like, I always had a deck full of beautiful flowers, and I haven't been able to do it for 3 years for sure. Or you can use noodles. I've seen that. Different things to
hear ourselves.
I know. Sounded weird. And then I started on my enclosed patio area. There was a landscaped area that was kind of started. So I redone all that, dug it all out, and then we found a huge ant hill. And then one thing led into another. We actually resurfaced and recovered the whole bottom part of our enclosed patio with new, I don't know what it was, some kind of white board that's good for outdoors. So Gary and his uncle did all that, and then they put my dirt back, and I had already split up I had hostas. Hostas are one of those easy ones that you can get 10 million plants out of it.
Eventually, yeah.
They
I planted some hostas.
Yeah, and I didn't buy any this year. I was going to buy some yesterday or Sunday when I did the flower garden around the tree, but I did not. I didn't buy any perennials. But I love impatiens, and so I put some of them there. Hopefully,
what's an impatient? What do those look like?
They're kind of got little heart-shaped leaves, but the
lion heads.
No, the flowers aren't very big, but they get full, and they're only good for shade. So I used to do them underneath the big tree in our first house. And it depends. Sometimes they do well under trees and sometimes they don't. It depends on if your soil is enriched enough. So I did add soil to mine. After I got all the area dug out and all the grass, I went and bought some topsoil and put bags of topsoil on it. And then I put my mulch. I only had a wheelbarrow left because we had bought some from Cook's Nursery and had a pile of it, but we only had like less than a wheelbarrow left. But I made it go for what I needed it to do, cover that space up. And then I added my wheelbarrow, and I had a little blue stepladder, so I have metal and I have wood. And then I bought a copper planter at an auction. It didn't have a lid. It's one of those wash boiler things, and planted in that. And then I had an old wood chair, kids chair that I did not put in the mall to sell because it was pretty bad. But
a lot of those, though, the wicker bottom ones, you can make planters out of.
Yes, I've done that where they fall out and then you put your pot in there. This was just a little child's chair, and then put a minnow bucket on top of something. And then I had some old watering cans that were from here.
That's probably the biggest thing. This one's a railroad watering can.
The minnow buckets and watering cans are super huge sellers for springtime.
I've never seen this one before.
I never have either.
It's called a railroad watering can.
So I wonder why.
I don't. It has the railroad.
That's
what cool. She's calling it, though.
It has this at the bottom, so you can hold on to that.
I don't know what makes it a railroad watering can. Maybe somebody.
It kind of looks like a railroad lantern. You know how it's shaped in this here? Yeah, kind of looks like a. I don't know. It's very different. It's a cool one. But yeah, stuff like that, just to. And I don't put I didn't put flowers in my watering can. They're just sitting there by the wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
And then I had this calf weaning bucket. It had a green painted, and as soon as Gary saw it, he was not happy with me. Why did you plant something in that? I spent blah 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 on that, and I said, well, that's funny. It was in the mall for sale price for a year, and it didn't have that kind of price on it. So I had another bucket, and I just switched out, put his lovely bucket in the shed that he will never see again, just so I didn't have to hear it. But,
this is a fuel watering can.
I wondered.
And it has PRR stamped on it, and stands for Pennsylvania Railroad Galvanized Fuel Watering Can.
Oh, how cool! That is cool.
Yeah, what you got on that?
32. 32. That's not bad.
It's got the stamp on it.
That is cool.
It is really neat.
Stamp at?
Right in the front.
In the front?
It's like embossed.
Oh, yeah. It's not a very big one.
Pennsylvania Railroad.
Is cool. Yeah. It'd be neat if you had a theme going for so that's another thing you could do. If you have a theme, carry it on throughout your.
Yeah, I thought, I really should do something landscaping-wise with railroads because we have the railroad that goes right through the backyard. And I got the railroad ties and all that. And I'm like, but that's enough.
Yeah. Yeah, she don't need it. She don't need a caboose or anything like that. No. Gary would buy it and say, here it is for you.
We had talked about when we were talking about swing sets, we're like, if we find one that's got something with a train, that would be really cute, but not necessary at all. One thing we didn't mention is old bicycles. Oh, yes. Old bikes are popular. Here. Yes, I know. We hung one up.
I thought about painting it and
getting the yellow one.
That yellow one, repainting it something else.
Maybe yes, old bicycles are vintage metal bicycles. Those look really neat. And
old shutters look cool too in your yard, especially if you can prop it up against something. I have I don't know what it was, something primitive. Somebody made a box that was 4 foot tall and it had little shelves in it. So
wooden boxes.
Planted some vining. Lobelia. It wasn't lobelia. It was something else, but it looks similar to that. It has like blue flowers on it.
Do you think that people decorate with old license plates, metal license plates out?
Yes, they do. Mm-hmm. Those would be cool in what I did too. But yeah, that's another cool idea.
Or old car parts or grills or anything. Yeah. We like Farmall or in Case IH, different kind of tractor grills.
If you live out in the country on a farm, that would look really cool.
Yes, old wheels, metal buggy wheels.
Yeah.
Not as popular anymore, but they still are popular.
We sell them when they're in here. They go pretty fast.
Yeah.
Some of them are big and they even go fast.
A lot of people like the grapevine trees. Those still qualify for landscaping.
Yeah.
anything that you can make. You could even do like old kitchen utensils or tools and make wind chime type
Okay.
things out of.
One of the vendors here used to make the uh, glass pieces, and they glued them
Oh,
together and
mhm.
decorative for your garden. Those are cool too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
stained glass reflectors.
Just sitting here talking about this, I'm coming up with so many
So
different
many more
ideas.
things. You got anything hanging from your tree yet?
No, because the
You have no
branches are
branch for it?
like
Too
way
high?
higher than the ceiling. Yeah,
Mm,
they must have cut it. I think they trimmed it all down before
that's
we
why
bought
it
it.
went up.
Yeah, it kept getting taller and taller.
I trimmed my front tree too
Yeah,
this
so
weekend because
I can't hang anything from it. Otherwise, I would have. I thought about that too. But I thought about doing on my garden or the shed, the barn shed, is putting some hanging.
well, you can still do that to your tree.
I could do. Yeah, I could add it there.
Just put in some garden hooks or some
Yeah,
uh,
that's not gonna hurt my
lantern
tree.
hooks. Oh no, trees they'll be okay.
What was the old thing I always heard? If you put a copper nail on a tree, it killed it.
Well, don't use the copper one.
I'm just saying. Isn't that what they said?
I don't know.
I don't know. I heard something like
I
that
would
years
still put
ago.
one in it.
I know. And I don't have any lighting
If
except
you're
for my
really worried
bathtub.
about it, you could just zip tie all the way around it.
Oh yeah, that'd look attractive.
So just put the nail in.
Yeah. Either that or I'll just get another shepherd's head.
Yes, so you do.
Yeah. I don't really need any more height. I like the way it looks.
It
And
looks
I
good.
did
And you did post a video
I
of
was
it.
just gonna say that.
Mhm.
I posted a video of what it looked like with nothing and then in the interim, and it's
Mhm.
on our Facebook page. So I did that this morning. And do you know what else that nobody talks about, like for gardens, is the old kegs, the nail kegs that aren't
Oh,
the
there was
wooden
one over
barrels.
there. I was gonna pull that up.
So
Those look really cool with ferns on them. I think.
so that's what I did.
Mhm.
But it serves a purpose too. And I was going to do my little reel for it, but I haven't done it yet. So I bring it home, and it was from my
Oh,
other
I know.
house,
Mhm.
and it had a hole in the back of it, how like a lot of them do because they have
Mhm.
little speck. So I brought it home to sit my fern on, or a fern. I didn't even have a fern at the time. I brought it home, set it on my deck. I'm like, the day before I was looking on Amazon, I need something to hide my hose. I need a hose reel
Bucket.
thing,
Yeah.
bucket thing. And I'm like, it just struck me. I'm like, why would I buy one? Here's one. So my nail keg that had the hole in, I ran my hose through it and now and put my fern on. Nobody even knows it's there. It's so awesome
Mhm.
because it's my spigot is like clear on the other side of the deck, and they buried the
The
up
line.
until where the
Mhm.
gardens were, and then so instead of having, they always had it strung out on the front of that patio. And I'm like, I do not want to do that. It's ugly. It ruins my plants. I'm not doing that. So yeah, it turned out so cute. But I'll post that too as a reel.
Do you think people use like baskets?
Yes, that's what I was going to ask you before.
I,
The only thing I always consider about putting that, because it looks, the texture is so cool.
mhm.
Um, but they get ruined easily from
Mhm.
water. But you could put a spray
Well, you
sealer
have
on
that
them.
gator hide. Would that work on that?
It would, but it's not a spray. You just have to brush it on.
Mhm.
They would last longer. So I have one. Um, it's a basket, and it goes in. It looks like a peanut shape where you put the pots inside, and it's lined with plastic, so it's used for
Mhm.
outdoors.
Mhm.
So I have that on my patio table. I don't know how long it's going to last. I think I'm going to pull it in when I know the rain's coming.
Yeah.
I just don't want it ruined. But I don't know. But I love baskets outside, and they do last. I mean, they'll last one season for sure, sometimes two. I've done it
The
before.
other thing we didn't mention, which is hugely popular all the time, has been for years, is wicker.
Oh yeah,
Anything
we
wicker.
sell a ton of that. I need to pull
It's
some wicker.
not as popular as it was, let's say, 3 years ago,
Right.
because I think rusty and wood is more popular right now than wicker.
Yeah.
But
It depends.
we
Everybody's got
did
their own
talk a
style.
few episodes ago, granny chic type things. So, if you're thinking very like teapot secret garden, wicker, anything white, against your greens would be so pretty. You could even use teacups glued and put little succulents or little flowers in
Yeah,
your
that would be
teacups.
cute.
Um, you could go a zillion ways. You could go very masculine and you could use cast iron. You could use jugs. You could use crates. You could use wooden boxes,
Kettles.
old rocking chairs, kettles, even old stoves. You could go very farmhouse and not real farmhouse. You could use saws. You could use tools. You could use metal toys, different kinds of buckets and sorts. We talked about tractor grills, any types of gears, metal, rusty gears, um, even old signage. We have lots of old metal signage here. But there's so many different outlets to create a whole nother little space in your home area just by choosing what type of vintage style you want to add.
I felt so much at home after I had mine done because I felt like
it felt like it was alive.
I felt like it was alive. Otherwise, it was like, I'm just in the backyard with the grass.
Yeah, and after I created that space in mine too, I thought now I have a space to look at and reflect and relax.
Yeah.
When I look the other way, it makes me think of the work, pulling my weeds, and you know what I mean? There's nothing special about it that everyone else has. But when you look to the other side, it just makes you smile, right?
Yeah.
Because it's
makes you enjoy the
something
outside.
Neat. And you put your creativity into it, which was really cool.
I have a question. So I just did this on Sunday, and I went out on my enclosed porch this morning, ate my breakfast, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I had another pot of flowers on that ladder. So I walked out there. Damn squirrels.
The squirrels.
And then I come here, and two of the big pots that I planted in last week had little holes dug in it and freaking dirt all over the place. How do you keep the squirrels from destroying stuff? Oh my gosh.
Well, one problem is you guys feed them.
I know we don't. Oh no, we don't.
You gave them peanuts.
No. That was last year when we first bought it. He bought a bag of peanuts. They haven't been there. We haven't done that forever.
I don't know how to keep squirrels apart. How do you keep birds from eating the freaking grass you planted 3 times now?
And Julie says, how do you keep the rabbits from eating my garden? So we all have pest problems.
Actually, really cool thing is, I don't know if every community has one, but right behind our house is the community garden plots.
Yeah.
So we have lots of extra creatures around.
Oh my gosh.
But that's such a neat idea too. So if you don't have a space inside your home and your community has a community garden, make your community garden plot yours. Yes. Personalize it somehow. Good. It'll also help detour unwanted guests by putting things that make noise or spin or have reflection.
Or so that I said my pots out here. The one that didn't get touched was the one that has the cardinal in it. The big the other cardinal sold.
Yes. That's why they always say to do owls and different squirrels. So they weren't going to mess with the one that had the cardinal in it. Any kind of animal will help that. Yeah. So that helps. And I thought, well, maybe I should put pie pans out. That looks terrible. Mm-hmm. But the noise, if it's windy, it'll keep them away. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. I told Corey last night, I was like, I thought about going to the Dollar Tree and getting those little plastic windmills and put them all over the grass. The ground just to keep the birds away, because this morning I looked out
and they're all eating
out a damn bird field.
Oh my god! They were eating.
And we even have straw on top. But yes, we are not planning. And if this grass doesn't come up, we're just having dirt.
That's frustrating.
That is very
for sure. Yeah, we've added a lot of grass seed this year too. But
yeah, did we cover our anticipated agenda? Do we know?
I don't know.
We talked about what are 5 decor, the top pieces,
5?
More than 5 probably, but we talked about the wheelbarrows, any kind of thing of metal, any kind of stool, buckets, ladder, chair,
right.
The buckets, the watering cans. I kind of think those are one category.
Statues and figurines.
Statues. Bicycles, wheelbarrows, I would combine into one category. Buckets and watering cans into another. Eclectic type things like these items you see here, I would categorize as one. And then just different cool ways to use different baskets and buckets. And you talked about the keg and different things like that. So we talked about how to use antiques to create the secret moments.
Right. Levels.
We didn't really talk a whole lot about wrought iron.
Well, no, we didn't. Your chair, we said, was kind of a wrought iron.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's just an easy way to add to outdoor space for sure. Right. You don't do nothing to it.
You don't have to do anything to it.
It's heavy, won't blow away.
Easy. But we do have. We had some benches in here that sold right away earlier this year.
Yeah,
for the
I feel
spring.
like those are types of things where if one generation has them, the next generation says, "I'll take that."
Wrought iron,
Yeah,
like gates.
yeah.
Even
Well,
if it's
gates.
just
We didn't
one
talk
gate,
about gates.
fences, those things are
Mm-hmm.
cool in
Yes,
gardens.
because you could use it
Yeah.
as a lattice, like a lattice.
And
Your
it could
gates.
be down a path, and even where
Mm-hmm.
nothing leads, but there's a gate.
You could
That'd be
prop up
cool,
the gate or fencing up against the tree
right? Or my shed,
or your sheds,
something
right?
like that. Yeah,
Right, metal mixed with wood, and again,
right.
our texture.
Yes,
I don't think that we missed anything.
terracotta.
We did that.
We did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And we just talked about wheels because we said any kind of like the old wagon
Yeah.
wheels or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah,
always
this
real
one was a
popular.
little
Yeah,
toy wheel, but
yeah.
we
That
talked
was
about
cute.
this one.
Yeah.
There's two of these. This booth also has two
You could
bigger
even
red ones.
string them together and have a vine.
You
Have
can
something
make
vine.
wreaths out of these too.
Really? Like
Bender 86 did.
she did.
Tiffany.
I
She
didn't know
out of
that.
bicycle wheels.
Oh yes,
Bicycle
she
wheels, and you
did.
can add
Yes.
your floral and your ribbons in and
Right.
out of them. And there's two blue ones, and this booth has two red ones. The red one's a little bigger. That would be a really cool summer red, white, and blue type
It would be
decoration.
Oh, yeah, we got plenty of that out front too, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. So what else did we say we were going to talk about?
I don't know. Are those garden tools hanging over there, or are they kitchen tools on that booth? See them on the wall right there?
Garden tools.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I think so.
Well, I would say that if you're looking to start your vintage garden or your secret garden if you're doing an outdoor garden, you need old rustic things. So we would be a place to stop for sure. Because just walking down the three booths in front of us is where we found the small collection of things that we have in front of us. And if we went to the next aisle, we would quadruple that probably.
Right. We always have tons of people coming in here for springtime because
that's when,
they know
we
what they
really
can
need
find.
to say that. Oh, and you know what? Old metal letters, like giant letters, would be something too. Anything metal, anything wood.
And we said a lot of people like the animal stuff too, like as their little accent pieces in their garden.
And we do have a booth in here that makes signage, like I don't want to say signage, but Taylor's Touch. They have like the wooden pigs and signs, the welcome sign. They have some really cute benches in there. If you have a covered porch, they have two benches right now.
Right.
One's made out of an old day bed, and the other one's a wood one. That would be really pretty in a porch area.
Right. Picnic baskets are something else that you can use too for different levels.
Yeah,
you can even, if it's not a really expensive one, you could literally plant inside one end and put a pot on the other, which makes it look really cool.
Even that thing, what is that right there? Like fruit basket on that chair over there? Like metal fruit baskets and stuff.
Oh yeah, the double ones. Those would be cool too.
Yeah, you could put little flowers in that. Or you know what? We keep talking about flowers, but you could have a rock garden.
Yeah.
I love rocks.
Succulents or rocks. Yeah. I had rocks almost everything. Like we just had different.
Right, when you have an awkward space.
Yeah, and
you
don't need another plant, but a stone or a big rock. That's nice. Adds texture, height, interest.
Yeah, we have planters, like actual planter buckets, like the one beside us.
A lot of wood box type things too that work well. And don't forget about like those old freezer crates that are wire metal. Those are great to put.
Or old egg baskets.
Yeah, all those kind of things work great. You could even do like if you have a triple layered, what do they call them? Like that little thing there.
Like a tray?
Yeah, triple layered tray. You could put little flower pots on that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it's
almost anything.
Almost anything you can make a flower pot.
Teapots to wagon wheels.
Yes. That's what we should have said. Teapots to wagon wheels.
Teapots to wagon wheels. Oh, old rusty stars are big still.
Yeah, some people don't like them.
I do not.
I know. Somebody else told me that too that I know, and I can't think of who it was. I'm like, and I have one. Where is it? What did I sell it? I used to have one at the other house in Fort McGovern.
I don't care for them because it just reminds me of Country Primitive, like the remake Country Primitive, not True Rustic or True Primitive.
Right.
But to each their own. People like what they like. like the barn quilt type thing, that era plaid. Not my cup of tea, but then again, my style is not everyone's cup of tea either.
That's
so,
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we covered everything.
Yeah. So we have this past weekend was Memorial Day weekend. We were open all weekend, and then this coming weekend is June.
Oh gosh, already June 1st is on Sunday, right? June 1st is Sunday.
I think so.
Yeah.
So first week of June is this week, which means not this weekend, but the following week is our first bi-monthly flea market
Right.
that we have outside. We've had lots of people reach out. If you are confused in any way about how to register, where we are located, or any questions, you only have to email us.
Yeah.
If you just email wheelandspokeevents@gmail.com, that's 2 E's, wheel and spoke, SPOKEEVENTS, Wheel and Spoke Events.
It's so much easier if everybody just does one platform. That way we don't lose people that want interest or that are interested. Yeah. Otherwise, you're like, well, what platform did they send us?
So what's the cost? Our cost is, first of all, you can set up 2 times a month up until October, the first weekend of October. So it's June 7th through October 4th. It is from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's on the south side of the mall entrance, correct?
Yes.
Right past the mall entrance. The main entrance to the mall parking lot, if you go past it, there's like the old antique or the old brick house that sits right beside the property. And then there's like a road there. What is that road called? Do we know?
Fifth Street?
Fifth Street?
I think.
It's the street right past the opening of the mall. You're going to turn right there, and the market will be up there. Yes, there will be vendor parking. Once you unload your area, we will ask and direct you to a separate parking space for you, not far away.
And we'll have that door open.
Right. So there is another ramp to the main entrance of the mall. There will be somebody managing outside, but when you come through, there will be an entrance that you can get into the mall from the market event or vice versa.
Right. So we'll have traffic flow going both ways.
Yep.
And the bathrooms.
So the mall opens at 10. The market's open at 8. So there'll be a few hours of overlap there that they'll both be open. Yes. And don't even put more work on our plate. And then we have, okay, so if you want to register, that's the information where it is. How much it is if you are signing up for 1 to 3 committed events, if you're going to commit to 1 to 3 of the weekends, you will be paying $10 each event date. If you want to commit to 4 or more of the events that are open, you would only be paying $5 an event. So if you could commit to 4 or more, you're getting a deal. So half off, basically. Half off the event if you plan on attending at least 4 of them. And how many do we have total?
Spaces? Or dates? I don't know. I didn't count that. June, July, August, September, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Yeah. I think.
Pretty good amount.
Yeah.
So we're hoping for a little bit of everything, anything.
Yeah.
I don't care what you got. But things like this are going to be great things for you to be a vendor if you have a plethora of those things. But we're calling it a flea market, so you don't have to have things that belong in a mall. Basically, it's
you want to get rid of it? Price it to sell.
Swap meet, flea market, resale, whatever you got. But it's an outdoor opportunity to collaborate with the mall. And we just ask that you get registered, fill out the fill out the registration form and send in your payment prior to the event. I believe the registration form says 2 weeks prior to the event. So if you're planning on the 7th, June 7th weekend, let's try to get those in this week if we can.
Yeah.
We will obviously be lenient here on our first week if we need to be, but anyways, you would have to bring whatever you need for your setup.
So if you need tables and chairs, you can bring your tables and chairs.
Yeah.
We do not have electric.
No, there's no electric.
So don't plan on that.
Right. There will be access to restrooms.
Yeah, restrooms will be right very close actually.
Yeah.
From that end. Yeah, if you need.
Basically, we're providing a space for you to resell anything you want.
Right.
I'm
excited.
I think it'll be good.
I do too.
Just like farmers markets and stuff out there that are restarting, the beginning of the season's always not as full as your mid to end season. So do not get discouraged if you maybe attend the first two, and it's not as large as what August may be for sure.
Just never know.
That's how most of those summer events go like that, just because June is so busy.
Yeah.
June's a very busy month. But anyways, we still encourage you to come if you're not selling. And make it an opportunity to hit up the mall at the same time and any other place in town that's open. We did mention, our theme was garden and vintage. We have really nice greenhouse type places here in the community.
Stuff from both of them.
Yeah. So hit them out, stop there and get your floral, and then come here and find stuff to put it in.
And I did just the opposite.
Yeah, I would too. But I was trying to say support them first.
Right. I said I did the opposite. Yes.
Yeah, I did both. I did back and forth. And then I found a piece and I'm like, now I gotta go get more flowers.
Yeah, I have to do that. I went to, I don't know what it's called, the one over here on Cooks. No, I got my mulch from Cooks. And then the one down here on Water Street, right off of Water Street. I don't know, they changed names. I don't know what it is now. I can't remember. But
I wouldn't be able to tell you.
It's where the park sign is.
Anyways, lots of good things. Yep. I know. Now I can't think of the name. You got me stumped.
There's one with a W.
They have a big rooster outside.
Yeah. I can't think of their name either. I don't know why.
Anyways, really good places to choose from. Even in the outskirts of the community, there's lots more too.
Yes, there is.
And then tomorrow we will be live at 3 with our sale and our garden.
Garden? Are we going to do garden yet?
We're going to do garden. So tomorrow, when you come join us on our live, you'll see lots of fun stuff that you might want to come in and snatch up or buy online.
Yeah.
You can buy it online and come in this weekend to pick it up.
That's right. That way it's not
It's held. You have it, and you can plan what you need. You already bought it.
That's a great idea.
So we'll have a good hour of a live sale tomorrow. So join us. You can always watch that replay as well. You can purchase replay up to 48 hours. And then after that, we put it back on the floor, and you can come in and try to find it yourself. Yeah.
And that happened. Well, it's funny because most of those items usually end up selling later because people saw them and they come in and they find it. Yep.
For sure. I think tomorrow during a live, what we should do when we go across with everything, and we should say what vendor each of it's from.
Okay, we can do that.
Like this here today, we have this vintage license plates birdhouse. This is from vendor 733.
And they're right here on the east side where we're at.
Yeah, all these items are right along this bathroom wall for the most part.
And this is from booth number 18, and they have more.
Yep, and we have 2 of those exact ones.
Yep.
This little piggy is from booth number
I think they can see it.
1968. I gotta see it first.
That's cute.
Little piggy. He's got little boots on. He's kind of got a fall ribbon on him, but you could change them. He's got a little.
And then our railroad watering oil can. Is that what it says? And that one is from booth number 29, and she's right up here in front.
Booth number 29. What's the vendor number?
70 something.
733.
Oh, that confuses me. I wish people wouldn't do that. 733 is the number. Yeah, don't put your booth space number on your tags.
But it is our booth space. It is booth space 29, but vendor number 733 right up here on the corner. I think Myra is watching us today. And then we have booth 20 on the lantern. There's tons of these kind of things around too. So
we will have fun.
There will be lots of things. Lots of things to purchase. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Plus our front entryway is very summery too.
Right.
Doesn't have a lot of garden. We want more red, white, and blue theme of all kinds. But
and I've replaced a ton of stuff that was out there.
All this can go right up there. Okay, so that was our vintage secret garden tutorial day. And I don't know what our next podcast will be on, but watch Facebook will announce that. We hope that you enjoy watching us and listen to us
banter.
There's no script.
There's this. Can you tell there's no script?
Anyways,
you know what?
so
That's good. I'd rather watch people that don't.
oh
Have a
yeah,
script.
I can't follow a script. Can't even do my hair.
Me neither. These little clips do great.
I mowed lawn this morning for a
Wash
few
it down.
hours, and then I was like, I gotta go. I gotta stop. The rain's just gonna have to wait. I don't know. It's gotta be on my schedule, not on its own.
What does?
The rain has
the
to be on
rain.
my schedule, not its own.
Yeah, it's gonna rain for the next 3 or 4
I
days.
know. And then it's gonna be sunny, so that means I might get grass.
And in the 80s.
I might get grass.
That's too hot. You might get grass.
Yes.
Hopefully. Yay. All right.
Okay.
I'm glad you guys joined us. And watch
Tomorrow.
the replay too.
Yep. And tomorrow.
Join us tomorrow at 3.
3 o'clock, we'll be live.
See you later.